Hey friends, Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Jobu, and as always, thank you guys for liking, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. Man, this channel is just growing like crazy, man. We're less than 300 people away from 7,000, and I can't believe it. And thank you to all of you people here in the United States as well as across the country. It has been phenomenal, and I appreciate it. Unfortunately, I've had some long days and stuff. I got to get out of here at 5 in the morning, so this is a real quick update on the Dallas Cowboys. Sports Track is reporting what they believe is market value for players. Now, here of course is the problem that we have, that we've always had, is we keep restructuring contracts so that way we can get under the cap and sign our players. Well, we have 21 free agents, some of which need to stay, some of which need to go. However, either way, you've got 21 guys we've got to pay that aren't currently part of the contract, under contract. So we're going to have to do some more restructuring. We're going to have to let some guys go, and we're going to have to hopefully get some guys to take some pay cuts. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because a lot of people say, man, you got to re-sign Ron Leary, which would be great if we could do it. But according to Sports Track, they value him at basically a contract that's like 4 years, $36 million. So you're looking at a big chunk of change. Basically about a $9 million a year contract. And we don't have that much money for an offensive lineman. I believe what we can do is possibly move Collins out to tackle. And also with Chaz Green, see how that works. He hasn't shown that he can stay healthy, but we'll see how that goes. And you can get a lesser person as a guard. Because here's the thing. What you have to understand is tackles are like on an island. Because you don't usually have somebody always on your side to help you. And you're usually getting the best athletes as defensive ends. See, if you're a guard, you've got a tackle outside of you, you have the center. And also, too, you sometimes get the help of the running back in there. So you're protected a little bit more. You do a lot more pulling, on sweeps and draws and things like that than the tackles will. But it's really important about having a great athlete out there to be able to take on that speed rush or that bull rush. So that's why maybe you move Collins out there. So that way we can get around not having Ron Leary. Terrence Williams, they're pretty much looking at him basically getting a 4-year contract worth about $33 million. That's a big chunk of change. And you look at what Dwayne Harris got when he left us. We couldn't afford to keep him, so more than likely he's going to go. Now this one is kind of interesting to me. They're putting Brandon Carr's value at about a 4-year, $23 million contract. Because a lot of you guys will say he's a bum, but the guy stays healthy and he plays consistent. Yeah, he gets a few bad plays here and there, but he's still ranked about, I think, 46 or 47th cornerback in the NFL. So when you think that you have 2 or 3 on a team that are playing valuable minutes, he's still kind of in that, mid-range cornerback. And if you think that we can get rid of Brandon Carr, Morris Claiborne, let Church go, let J.J. Wilcox go, and think that we can bring in 4 guys that are going to be better, that's going to be difficult to do. So look at probably Church being re-signed, and I think Brandon Carr is actually going to be re-signed. But then again, what do I know? Now, one thing I'm kind of concerned about is, good old TMZ's been following Ezekiel Elliott like crazy. And they're reporting that the reason why they were talking to Zeke was because his best friend, the guy who's been seen on Instagram and stuff like that, had a loaded gun when they went into the club. More than likely, I'm probably thinking that he probably had a loaded gun to kind of have protection and stuff for Zeke. Although, that's not necessarily a good idea, and that's one of those things that Zeke's got to realize, that everything he does and everybody he associates with is going to be put in the news. He can't just be like you and me, can just show up in a club and do whatever. Now, I can say this, at least he didn't do like Plexico Burris and carry a gun to New York into a nightclub where it's illegal to have a gun and shoot himself in the leg. Or like Talib in Denver, who shot himself in the leg. So it's not as bad as they're making it out to seem. And As you see, TMZ has a way of making the stories a lot bigger than they maybe necessarily are. And of course, the last thing we have to get to, because right now the sports news is Tony Romo 24/7. And I am truly amazed here. You guys know, even though I'm told I can't really be a Dallas Cowboy fan because I'm not from Dallas, I live in the Washington suburbs. And it's amazing listening to the sports talk channels here because Kirk Cousins has played pretty well. A lot better than what you expect from a third-round draft pick. Or was it a fourth round? Either way. Yards per completion, he was ahead of Dak Prescott at third. Yeah, he had a few plays, some kind of Tony O-nos, you could almost say, like, against us where they had the lead and he threw an interception in the end zone, we drive down the field and win. But for the most part, he's the only reason why they're even relevant anymore in the NFL. But they franchise tagged him last year because they didn't want to pay him, a long-term contract. And they're trying to sign him to a long-term contract. But if you read the writing on the walls, if they can't, they may say goodbye to him or franchise tag him. Which to me is just unbelievable. When you look around with the lack of quarterbacks in the NFL, you gonna let that guy walk for nothing back in return? For possibly, the rumors are, for Tony Romo, and it's all over all the sports talk stations here and the news and everything else about the Redskins are interested in Tony Romo. So it's kind of funny that now we're hearing that the Jets, Chicago, Kansas City, Houston, Denver, and now Washington are all interested in Tony Romo. Sure would be nice if we could get a trade here in the next week and get a pick. I'm just saying. It'd be nice if we could get something, but I'm ready to move on to some other news because it's kind of crazy. I'm just wondering who tomorrow will be the next team that we hear rumors about with Tony Romo. So friends, that's it for tonight. I am going to go ahead and finish uploading this video, and I'm going to go to bed because I got to get up at 4:30 and hit the road. And for all you guys that are wondering how come that video this morning was in the dark, well, it was dark and I was driving to work in the dark. So it wasn't that I didn't pay my electric bill. So as always, friends, thank you guys for watching, subscribing, and following the Jobu Sports Report. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe. We're trying to get to that 10,000 threshold so that way we'll be able to live stream in events on YouTube directly. So as always, like I said, friends, thank you guys for following and subscribing. And don't worry, there's going to be more reports about Stephen A. Smith attacking Jobu. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out that video. Have a great night. Hello friends, CowboyJobu here in front of the Dallas Cowboys headquarters, and we're looking for Jerry. Let's see if he comes answers.